Righto guys, so we've got this chopped out. Let's just pry it out and see what's going on behind it. What the hell? Welcome to D-Mop Garage. We're working on the 53, 54. We're not quite sure what year it is yet. We're still waiting for the VIN plate to turn up. But I think it might be a 54 actually. Anyway, yeah, so in the last episode you would have seen we stripped the thing to nothing. And now you can see there we've got it on the frame jig. Now it's only just sitting on top. I haven't got anything finalised. It's actually just sitting on jack stands for now, or almost. I've got to get everything lined up because I want to get it perfectly level to the frame jig, and then we're going to actually start making our little uprights and get it all mounted properly. So it's a bit difficult now that we've got all this frame work because you can't get the jack in there to jack it up. There's only me and it's heavy and I've got a crappy back, and you know the drill. We've just got to try and do it all slowly and make sure we get it where it needs to go. So we've got to get some flat bar. I've got some angle line over there that we're going to chop up, and then we've just got to start making the uprights. So let's see how we go fandangling this thing into position.
2,000 years later.
Come and have a bit of a look-see here. So you can see I've gone and put some points of bolting down on the chassis table, but we've had to take a lot of that stuff off because the frame rails aren't correct. Now, you might be able to see down through here, this has a dirty great big twist in it, but also the rail there is kicking out. So what's happened is as it gets to the end there, it's actually too wide by about 25 mil. So it's not going to marry up to the front section. So we've got to actually cut the rails off completely. But there also is a lot of rot you can see in here that we've got to repair, because that's not good. That's not good at all. We're going to have to clean this area up and cut these off, reattach them in the right spot, and then we can get our points at the front here. So what we're looking for, I mean, I've just tacked all this in position at the moment. We need 740 mil across here, and at the moment now we've got about 786 or something like that. So yeah, we're a bit out. But that's all right, nothing we can't handle. We just need to move a couple of these points. That's why I've only just tacked these. I haven't fully welded it because I knew we were going to have to move things around. So yeah, let's start cleaning up some rails, and yeah, we're going to have to do some more measurements and a little bit more welding and get these suckers where they need to go.
2 hours later.
Well, as you can see here, we've got a dirty great big hole up on top and on the side, so we're going to have to cut this out and just make sure, check inside that there's no rust in there, probably get the wire wheel. We're going to have to cut this here anyway because we've got to move this chassis rail inwards. So yeah, it's probably better that I just chop the whole piece out and we'll just weld a new piece in. Let's get it done. Alright, and we also have that's the brake line. The bottom's alright. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just make a template out of this and cut her in. Okay, I've got to cut a little bit more off the bottom and a bit more on the top there. Okay guys, so we've got our little piece. I've just put some copper spray on the inside of it. Now this panel here, I'm actually going to cut that out and replace it as well, because the top of it's, you can see there's not good, and also it just looks compromised. So what I'll do is that's going to get welded in like that. And you want a gap. You don't want to have these two things butting up against each other. So you want a mil gap, just so that you're going to get good penetration. Now what I'm going to also do here is TIG this, well, MIG it in place, spot MIG it, and then go around it with a TIG, because you're going to get a softer weld. It's not going to be as brittle and not prone to cracking down the track, being a chassis. So anyway, that piece is going to get welded in, and then we'll replace this part here. Now the other side over there is no good either, but I think that just needs to be filled in, so that's not going to be too bad. We've sort of got everything squared up now. So the way I did all this, I got obviously the diagrams from Stan in Canada. Now go and check out his channel too, the Nova Scotia barndoor build. He's doing pretty much exactly what I'm doing here, building it from the ground up. Does amazing work, metal work. Definitely envious. I don't have enough room for all the equipment that he's got, but yeah, go and check out his channel. I'll leave a link in the description too, so you can go and see his barndoor build. But I've got some CAD drawings from him, which has been really helpful because I've been able to get all the measurements. Now this thing was out, and if I get a tape measure, so basically the measurement had to be across here 74, and now these rails here are actually parallel with the chassis frame. So 74, obviously 74 here, and then it kicks out at this point here and kicks out, and then the rest of the rail is actually dead straight all the way to the end. Now you can see that's not straight down there, it's actually bending in. So that last section's got to get kicked out so that it's on the plane of the tape measure like that all the way to the end. Okay, guys, so we've got this section all welded in, and I've also cut off that section there that was not any good. So we've got some new parts here to weld in on top. That one's going to go in like that, and then we've got the two pieces that go in there and there. And also we have put the front just temporarily just on, just so I can start making some front mounts. You can see what I've done here, just picking up the points here, and then I'm going to weld another piece straight down like that, and that'll just pick up that point, and then obviously that's going to be onto there like that, and then I've got to pick up another point at the front. So it's getting there, but yeah, the rails are going to need a lot of work. These things are not in the best shape, and I just wanted to get it temporarily up here. I'll take it back off and I'll have to work on it, and then I can, you know, when it's ready to go. Our measurements from this point here to the center of the torsion tube at the back isn't right either. It's actually a bit too short. So I'm going to have to add a section in here, because you can see there's a gap already, and I've got to go that way about 6 millimeters. So, and I know some of the chassis were different. I've been checking on Samba that there is some discrepancies in the frame length. So I don't know if anyone knows a barn door single cab versus a bus, whether there's any differences or not. I'm going off Stan's plans, and I mean, I don't know if that's 100% correct or not, but it seems to be right for what I've got here. To me, that looks like when they've chopped that in half, I've lost about 6 mil, and I've got to gain it back. So I reckon I'll be bang on to which was I can't remember what it was. It was 2 meters, 204.5 or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, that's where we're going to be with it. I've still got to fix this corner down here too. This bit down here needs to be fixed, and there's supposed to be a plate in here as well. So I've got to manufacture that and go from there. But at least it's getting there slowly. There's a lot of work. There's no two ways about it. But you know what? Everything is straight, which is good. I haven't found anything crazily wrong with this front section. So, and this is actually one thing I don't know about. I've got a feeling that's the end, but it might not be. So yeah, looking at the fact that's being turned there, that might be the end. But again, I'm going to need some sort of a measurement from here back to, you know, maybe where the rail starts to curve up. I'll need something, and then, you know, same on this side here. You can see the quality control expert, Bonnie. You have dug the biggest hole. Just come and have a look at this, fellas. This is what I've got to deal with every day. A 1.5-year-old little brat. What are you doing? You've dug a massive hole. What do you have to say for yourself? What do you have to say for yourself? You're having a lot of fun there, aren't you? That hole's huge. I just filled that in, and you've gone and opened it up again. Okay, well, as you were, keep digging and keep doing what dogs do. All right, let's get back to it. So a little bit more progress. We have the rear supports welded in today. They're a little bit hot still. Now these chassis rails at the back, they were about here. So they had to get bent right out to here. The measurement across here, again, got it off Stan's plans, and mate, they've been invaluable. Basically, this rail here has to be dead straight to the join point in the middle and then kicks back out. So that's right on task. I've got the other piece welded in. All we've got to do now is weld this part of the rail in there, and we're home and hose on this back section, and that's going to be done. Now, what I did do on the front off camera was I just got the final measurement from the middle of the torsion tube to front here, and we got that all correct. The front's all mounted. These are all welded in now, fully welded. So we've got our points across here correct. And you can see the gap that we've got to, this is what we've got to now fix up. So this I'm going to unbolt because it's basically bolted on now. So we can unbolt it, we can put it on a bench, put it onto its side, and then I can start tackling all this rust here. Because all that's got to be repaired. Same on this side here, all down there. Yeah, there's a lot of work in this, but at least now we can put it back to its spot, and it's going to marry up to all these positions. We've got bolt holes here, we've got bolt holes here on this side. There's not much left here, but we'll get to that. So we can repair the rest of that part. So once we've got that chassis part done, then we have to get this part made. I couldn't get that, so I'm going to just make it myself. I've got a mate that has a bead roller, so we'll have a crack at doing a little bit of metal work and see if we can reproduce this little part. Those we're going to get repaired. We'll get to those later, but at least the table is almost complete. We've got one more back point to do there. You know, all the dimensions line up really nicely. We've got no issues, so it's a good starting point, and we can continue on.
A few moments later.
Okay, so we've got the welder fired up, and we started refabricating this section here. So we've got our mount welded in, and we have our measurement across here, which is perfect. I've just filled in the top section here, and then of course now we've got this section of rot on the side. You can see where the metal's really quite pitted,
so pitted like that.
And we can just pop this little piece out here, and we're going to use that as a little template, and we're going to fillet this section back in, and then we can actually bring it all the way to where it needs to be and weld it back in again. So let's cut this out. We're going to just do a little bit of fandangling here. Blast off, this on, that off, this on. Okay, we're going to switch over to TIG, and we'll just stitch the rest in. Yo! Alright guys, so there you go, that repair is done. We've got to just do a little bit of panel beating here, a couple of little dints in it, but that's all solid. At least we can move on to something else. Righto, the next thing we've got to do is repair this piece of chassis rail. And I suspect it's going to be a lot worse once we take the outer skin off, so let's get this cut off and see what's lurking behind. Righto guys, so we've got this chopped out. Let's just pry it out and see what's going on behind it. What the hell? How did he get back there? What are you saying? Subscribe to D-Mob Garage. Yeah, I think they all need to do that. But how'd you get in there, buddy? Get the hell out of here. Oh, I don't know, these kids these days. That's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, so we've got some repairs to do here. All right, well, there's a lot going on here. We've rust treated it. We've got our copper spray primer on. I've had to build this top piece on, and then we've got to add a little piece there. I've got to add a little piece there, and then we've got to put the bit on top of it. So there's a lot going on to get rid of all the rust, but that's what we've got to do. And there we go, guys. That one is all repaired, nicely solid. We're just going to weld these little top pieces in now for the floor. You can see they just weld in like that. And we've got a couple more to this piece here to put in. It goes like that. Get those tacked in, and yeah, at least that chassis rail's finished, so I can move on just to cleaning these ones up. These don't need any rust repairs, they're actually pretty solid. I have actually welded up these sections inside. We've put the kill rust all the way inside it on both rails, but we just need to clean up that little section there, and then we've got to add the rest of the chassis rail part here now that's going to come over to here and go in there. That'll be another episode, then we can start moving on. Once we've got the rest of that done, I was going to sandblast all this, but there's really no point. I can probably just wire wheel it all, get it back to bare metal, and then we can get it treated, put some phosphoric acid on it, and then get some primer on it, and that can be good. All right, guys, well, I'll see you in another episode. That'll do it for this one. I'm going inside to have dinner. I'll check you in the next episode. You.